Good morning from Barbados Beach House Build. It's actually the afternoon even. It's not even wishing the day away. Day's flown past. I've actually been down to Bridgetown today to go over some bits and bobs, which I'll update you in a second. Before I start gassing, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The more subscribers, the better. I'm sort of doing a weekly update at the moment, so there's a couple of things that have happened over the last few days which I can now update you on, which is good. Our lovely Sherwin is out there working full-time. He's working on a contract at the moment, helping a friend paint and decorate one of the big hotels on the island, so I've released him to go off and do that. So he's here on Fridays, Monday to Thursday, I'm on my own. So anyway, what have I got to update you on? I've got to update you on the air conditioning. We've had the ductwork done downstairs, so I'm going to show you that. We cut the hole in the floor, which you saw the dramatic video of me and my apprentice. I'll show you now what that looks like after we finish that. Today I finally got my replacement bit of glass and my garage door skin. So that's been delivered by the brokerage and shipping company. I had a few dramas of that, as you guys know, but that's now been delivered, thank God. I still need to obviously find out what went wrong with that, obviously, but at least they're here. I can open the boxes in the next couple of days to check that the products are okay, because they've been sat in the port since April. So fingers crossed they'll be fine. But judging by the boxing they've come in, they should be absolutely fine. Now on that note, by the way, the window, probably about 25 kilos I would have thought, the glass. That came in a box that was boxed up to protect the glass, and fingers crossed that'd be fine. And the garage door, probably about 50 kilos. Again, boxed to ensure that doesn't get damaged. That's taken the overall weight to 542 kilos apparently. So I don't know how true that is, but obviously we had to get high about in order to get that lifted onto the truck and off the truck, which the brokerage kindly sorted out for me, which is good news. So anyway, and also today, the thing I've been doing today in Bridgetown was just been nipping in to see the grills. We've had a delay with the grills, which has been good. The delay meaning it's given us time to, rather than having two 14-inch grills for the return for the living area, we now have one big 42-inch grill being made, which is good. And we also need to get another two grills made for underneath the kitchen unit, which I think I've shown you in the last video anyway, so we definitely need to get that sorted out. I'm going to show you the hole in a minute. I'm going to show you the grills I need, and I hope you might be able to help me find some, because at the moment some of the actual grills we're having made are as small as they can go, and we need a little bit smaller. Obviously we've got the ductwork downstairs I can show you as well, to show you how we're getting on with that. And an interesting turn of events. We've had a few issues with the solar, which I think I updated you guys in the last video on anyway, which has caused me a few problems, in as much as the energy that we're using in this house is huge. And as a result of that, I'm not going to be able to get a solar system big enough, even if I had the money, to go onto the house to try and make sure our bill and the loan for the solar is pretty much at zero stroke in credit every month. And the only way around that, obviously, is to lower your usage. Now, the only way to lower your usage is either to turn things off, uninstall them, or find products that work better. Now, on the solar front, if you've got single phase in the area, you're only allowed to have 45 kilowatt system approved to be connected to the system. That system meaning the grid. We are unfortunately in an area where we're 9-10 lampposts away from 3-phase. 3-phase is 9 to 10 lampposts, which apparently works out between $2,000 and $2,500 Bayesian dollars per lamppost. So we're talking about $30,000 to get 3-phase here. If you have 3-phase, then you can put in a bigger unit as a bigger kilowatt system. So 45 is your cap on single phase, which unfortunately we have. And it also means that the electric charge that you have from the grid is more aggressive when you're on single phase than it is 3-phase. Someone explained it to me, it's like trying to force massive amounts of power down a very small pipe. So technically our bill is greater than it should be because we're on single phase. So that's not helping our bill. So we've only just, as you know, had the 2 central air units put in. You saw the 5-ton units been put in last week. It's running 10 times better than 3-ton was, obviously. It now means we have 8-ton working in the living area, so the kitchen and the living room space is now 8-ton. We've got the 3-ton unit in the bedroom, in the master bedroom, which is working brilliant, which does work a bit better than the others from an economics point of view, but again, it's a smaller room. And then we've got to look at the other rooms, and the Eureka sort of styled moment, which I'm not too sure I've updated you on the last video, is that I've been speaking to a guy called Rob in Australia who's got a hybrid concept unit. meaning that it's AC/DC. You can connect the system. It runs about 60% more economical than a standard air conditioning unit, and you can also connect batteries to it and solar, which means during the day it's running on the sun, which means it's running for free, apart from obviously the cost of the solar. And then you put a big enough solar system on it so that you can connect batteries, so that during the day it's running on the sun, charging the batteries, so at night hopefully the batteries can see you through into the morning, so you don't have any bills. So the thought process at the moment is potentially to put in a 45 kilowatt system straight to the grid, which means we'll get some money back from that, and that will probably be around about, I would say about $2,500 to $3,000 a month return. Obviously there's going to be a cost of about $120,000 to $130,000 to put that system in, which I assume will be about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. So there'll be $1,500 in your pocket from the grid. And then you've got a usage charge. At the moment our usage charge is big, but if we can put the solar units in, then we may be able to reduce that output. We may be able to reduce the output by about 50%. So it does mean that we have to buy all the new units, and it also means we have to reconsider what we do with the main part of the house, because at the moment these units are great, but they're running at 100% and they're bloody expensive to operate. The 3-ton unit works at about 3.2 kilowatts per hour. So the 5-ton is probably running about 6 to 7 kilowatts an hour. So quite a big usage. Whereas if we can put, again, they only do 24,000 and they're looking to do a 36,000 BTU ducted system on solar, it means in this area we'd have to put at least 2 24,000s, and in the other side we'd have to put at least 2. In an ideal world we probably need 3 each. So we'd need 3 24,000 units in either side, which is quite expensive, but again it means we're running at about 50 to 60% more economical. And the other bedrooms, we can get away with 18 to 24,000 BT units, and we've got 3 bedrooms. Plus, we've got the unit over here, and if I don't put the ducted system downstairs in the basement area and feed through the wooden floor, then we are talking about putting 2 split units in here, one about here and one about here. So that would have 2 24,000s in there. So we are looking for a price between 9 and 11 units. So that's not going to be bloody cheap. But anyway, enough gassing. Hopefully I've helped you with that. If there's anything in particular you want to ask about what I've just gone over, then let me know in the comments below. If you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, if anything you want to know in particular, then certainly fire away. But let me start by showing you, obviously, up here when it comes down to the ductwork. So as you can see, we've now got the ductwork that's come through the floor. It's got to be trimmed back. As you can see, it's very proud at the moment. So we're going to have to trim this back. And the aim is to try and get the actual grill itself to sit down in this gap here with a lip coming over about 3/4 of an inch over the concrete. It'll butt up against the wall here. Then obviously the main bit of rebar, we'll get that covered and painted in. But as you can see, we've now got a nice big hole absorbing as much of the hot air from up here down to regurgitate out through here. And again, since we've done that, this one's rattling because the air coming through the floor now is actually trying to push that grill out of the floor, which is great news. It means that it's actually working, which is brilliant. So let me take you downstairs and show you the actual ductwork that's been installed. Okay, so if you remember rightly, we had the flexible stuff as we still have on the kitchen side, but now we're looking like this. Loads nicer, a lot higher up in the air, a lot cleaner. We've still got a couple of little bits missing, like tape around there, so we're going to get those tarted up. So I am going to go around at some stage and just find where there's any cold air coming through to make sure we can get everything as sealed as possible. This is the monstrous return now that's coming through upstairs, which is absolutely amazing. As you can see, it's around about 1 metre wide, which is about 3.5 foot. And it's got a nice drop of about 12 inches. So again, that is pure warm air coming into here to get obviously cooled down by this monster. So yeah, definitely needed, as you can see. This is obviously the first feed, the one that's trying to blow the actual grill out of the floor. This one's direct as well. So again, as you can see, they've come right across here, nice and clean. This one here, unfortunately, rather than going to here and then a separate one to here, they've done a T-junction, but it seems to work, so I'm not moaning. At the end of the day, it's not what I would have done. I would have done separate. I would have literally come here, straight across, and then continued that one to that one. But again, I suppose once it gets to here, it equally supplies both sides. So there's me talking crap and not knowing what the guys know. But again, bear in mind they actually made this. So obviously they've done this as well to try and help their air as it comes in here, go round to each side. So it seems to be working, that's for sure. All of them were fired into the floor like this, which I don't like. I do prefer screwed and plugged because it is just neater and it doesn't shatter the concrete. But again, and again, if you ever take it down or move it, then it's certainly easier to get out the ceiling than it is if you do it the other way. But anyway, I think you'll agree, it looks so much nicer, and it's certainly going to be a lot more effective, that's for sure. The next stage is going to be next door doing here, obviously. But what I want to try and do in the meantime is just analyse whether we're going to go with these hybrid units first, because if we go with a hybrid unit, then as you can see, we've got one big machine here, but what we're going to have about here is one 24,000 unit feeding here and potentially here with a return here, and then we'll have to have another 24,000 unit ideally here, I suppose. It'll have to be here because it's going to actually feed there, it's going to feed here, and then it's going to have a drawer, so probably come around here and do a drawer here somewhere. But anyway, a lot more happy, obviously. We need to still do this one over here, obviously to the bathroom, but again, we could do that on another stage. The bedroom one is working out really well, so I'm really not fussed at the moment about doing anything on that at the moment. Sean and the guys have been absolutely brilliant, bless them. So we still need to work out what we're going to be doing with the old unit, obviously. So if anybody wants any old units, let me know. That's what's been happening down here. Lots of work been taking place. Look at me bending down as if I'm 7 foot tall. Actually, I could probably hit my head on that. Kitchen carcasses, our kitchen man hasn't come back to me as yet, and I am thinking about just taking one apart and just stenciling and doing a load myself. The PVC sheets aren't massively expensive, and it's a case of just drawing them out on a piece of PVC, cutting them, fixing them together, so it's not rocket science. I do want to do a little barbecue upstairs on the patio, which I think I've mentioned on the previous videos, and PVC would definitely be the best material to make it out of, because as you know, here wood, termites, sun, everything else, it just rots everything, so I definitely think it would be better if we do that. My gym hasn't taken any form of movement in here. It's so hot in here. If anything, it's mainly just because of getting down to the beach and filling the boxing bags and everything with sand, but it is an intention to try and run some white paint around here and get some, if I can, get some boxing equipment going and training. I haven't heard back on that note. I haven't heard back from the floor man with regards to our pickleball court. He did update me a couple of weeks ago and said he's still trying to get some numbers together, so I'm going to have to unfortunately stalk him. But I have had some good news, in as much as a friend of a friend has given me somebody that is meant to be pretty good on the concrete. So today I had some quotes come through for the path, spit it out, this path here. So to go over with a concrete path on here is working out about 23,000. To take up the path and put a new path down is coming in at 27,000. And if I want to tile it, it's coming at about 45,000. Sheesh. So I'm really not too fussed whether we dig it up and start again. Bear in mind we put it down, or whether we go over what's there. What we put down was done pretty well, so I think we should be okay to go over it. But again, I would like somebody to take full responsibility for it. So if it means taking it up and starting again means they are then 100% responsible, I think I'd rather go with that in case there's any cracks or any form of, if it starts giving way and there's any form of slippage or sinkage, I'd rather obviously just say, look, we know we started from fresh, so we can obviously get that sorted. So anyway, that's where we are with that, and let me quickly take you into the garage and show you our packages that were delivered. Okay, so here's the coffins. So the one thing that was quite interesting is how I say it's gone from 100 kilos to 540 kilos. But more importantly, the English guys, who I bought this from, this whole boxing was 150 pounds. So that's all it was, 150. So I'm not too sure why it's actually gone so heavy. This is the replacement 2-foot window for the bathroom. As you can see, it's completely sealed. I can't work out what's in there, obviously, from a packaging point of view. but it's quite thin. But again, there's no reason why that window shouldn't be in one piece, fingers crossed. But again, as it says here, gross weight 42 kilos. So that's 42 kilos. There's no way in the world that's 500. But it'd be interesting to try and find a sticker on that one, if there is one, to find out what the actual weight is. I'm not too sure if there's anything on it, but I'm sure I'll find something. But anyway, as you can see, that's now the new skin to replace this. Before I do anything at all, the first thing I've got to do is straighten this boxing, which was also damaged in the transit last time. And the reason why that is one, there's a cover that goes on that after it's finished, but also on the front of the actual door itself, if I show you, quite noisy and grindy. As you can see, the big bulges here on the door where it was bent and buckled from the last time. But I think where some of the actual markings actually are coming from on the garage door itself are on the inside. You can't really see it here because it's off this bowed. But in here you can see that, you can't see. But anyway, basically this container on the outside where it's been bent is actually doing a bit of a wave behind here. So the door itself is scraping on it. So I'm gonna have to drill all the way along to ensure I get it as flush to the wall as possible, to ensure when we put the new door in, it's also not gonna come down and scrape on it. You can just about see in there, look, for instance, where there's, it's not sitting on the door. It's actually so it's doing this. It's rubbing the door. And as a result of that, obviously, taking all of the grey paint off, as it's doing in this corner as well. So anyway, I'm gonna have to redo that, which is absolutely fine. What you gotta do is you gotta lower it all the way down to the very bottom of the floor, and at the very top you'll have like some, there's about 10 to 12 hooks that go over with a bolt going through. So I've got to push the bolt through, pull up the hooks, and then the whole door will basically fall off. And then same thing, make sure we get the actual motors in a complete down position, hang the new door on, put the bolts in, take it up, and then wind it back down again so it comes back into these what did he call them? Things. So it goes back into those. And obviously what I've got to try and do with the new door is just make sure that the main pole that the door wraps around, that goes from the motor here all the way into the other motor there, I'm going to make sure that's not bent as well, because obviously at the moment this door is bent and it's on the pole. So I've got to make sure that's completely straight, so I'm going to put the new door around. I'm also not getting an influence from that as well. So fingers crossed. I think the actual inner pole is straight. My thought anyway, so that's my hope. Yes, so I will open that up in the next couple of days. Obviously I'm going to have to get a couple of claw hammers up here, some crowbars, get the wood taken off. It does mean I've got some spare wood as well, so if anyone wants to buy it, let me know. I'll open up the window as well to make sure that's not broken, just to confirm. And then we can start installing that. Fitting that window is quite easy. It's just taking the rubber and the internal beads. Actually, that one doesn't have internal beads. Yeah, it's just the external rubber and then the inner rubber, and then the window comes out and then the window back in again. That's quite a simple fix. So I can get that done. Then I can also fit the straps that obviously do the blinds inside the window. So there's like a little pull strap. So fingers crossed they did remember to put the blinds in that window. So yeah, it'll be a case of just fixing that on there and pulling that down, no problems at all. But the garage door, I'm probably going to do this Friday when Sherman comes in for his day. So yes, straightening that is obviously quite important, as you can see. It's obviously quite high here, then it sloops down to here. It is a bit magnified because of how bent the door is as well. So analysing that and getting that sorted out is going to be really important. So other than that, I do have quite a bit of wood for spare. If anyone wants to buy any, let me know. I've got these, I've managed to pull these out as well today, which were obviously what the original other windows were stored in as well. So I need to try and get rid of those. If anybody wants to buy them, let me know. Other than that, I'll leave you to it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up below and send me some comments so I can reply when I can. As and when I know more on the air conditioning front, which I'm hoping to do in the next 24 hours, I'll update you guys. So anyone buying air conditioning at the moment, hold off. Do not buy any air conditioning until I physically can come back to you and tell you about the hybrids. They're roughly the same price as the units on the island, and they run at between 50 and 70% of the standard ones. So trust me, if you want your air conditioner on with no bill, that's what you need to go with. So as and when I know more, I'll pass that information on to you guys. So please don't buy any until I find some more information. other than that, I'll check out and I will see you guys at some stage. Thanks for watching.